Hey, this is Paul Duplantis with iDIG. The DIG in iDIG stands for Deep Inquiry Generator. It's based off of ideas I've had for the last 20 years. I've tried to build off of these ideas in the past. But I've never been a coder historically. I'm not a developer by trade. In 2022, late 2022, I discovered the generative AI models that had hit the public. So I started to look to leverage the AI models and start building. And I started with an RSS feed reader, and then I grew into what I'm demoing here now, which is the iDIG framework, the signal-driven discovery and matching. So the core of this is the fact of my interest in and the problems that I've seen in information discovery, where the algorithms are not controlled by the end user, they're controlled by the providers. And I've really have been looking for ways to provide the end user with more control over the algorithm. So with iDIG, I have created, this is all built off of an algorithm that I have built, but it's based off of signals that can be tuned for the end user. And this is just a demo here of my first iteration of what I've built, which is, you'll see here that this is based off of what I call the triad, the profile of the observer, the person that is the perspective of somebody looking for information. And then the finding, which is in this instance is the decision makers for a job. So for instance, if you were a account manager for a staffing agency and you wanted to find decision makers to contact regarding a job, you could use iDIG to be able to find people that the framework provides a deduction of the fact that who would be the person to contact. Now, how is this done? Well, this is by retrieving signals that reside in the job description and reside in the profile data of the decision makers, which both has been loaded into iDIG. So you'll see here, this is the decision maker, the job. These are 100 decision makers that I uploaded from a spreadsheet. And I have tested this against knowing that who the person was that is the actual decision maker, and then reversed engineer the algorithm to deduce that. And so I have been able to take 100 managers from a department with a company and deduce through the tool that they are the hiring manager, because I knew for a fact they are the hiring manager. That was how I did this. I reverse engineering. So this could be used for other things too. But you'll see here, let me show you how the jobs admin, I have a job pasted. You can upload the job, you can paste it, and you can bring in data from an API. I actually have a SERP API from jobs pulling in that you can actually condition and filter. So that's where the jobs are coming in. Then you actually have the decision makers coming in from a list that I uploaded from a CSV. And now what I plan on doing with iDIG is for 2026, I've been building this for the last couple of years. It's working now. It's not enterprise grade yet. It's probably going to take me a while to get this to where it's enterprise grade. But I plan on embedding with a number of customers, of mid-sized, smaller businesses, to use the tool to embed with their teams to understand their signals. And let me talk a little bit about the signals. So the signals are what reside within the content. They reside within the spreadsheet data that I uploaded, and it resides within the job descriptions. But conventionally, when you're just looking at the data from a search perspective, then that's just the data that you search and bring in. Well, what I've done is I've created an algorithm based off of something called the Hilbert space, which is part of the quantum theory domain. And I've found some areas where maybe these ideas of grabbing vector spaces inside information and records could be something to build an algorithm on, which I did. And so far it's successful. And I'm really interested in engaging with some other teams to see what this could do for their teams. And the signals are the fact of what is coming in from the algorithm is taking the information that resides in the record. So let's just say we've got one record, which is the decision maker, and then another record to the job. Well, that all has data in there. So what I've done is I've mapped signals inside that data. So it hits iDIG, and then it maps out, and it takes these keywords, it takes the themes, it takes the backgrounds, the social signals, and what I call the experiential signals, where the geography is from the decision maker to the job. And then it puts it into what I call the RSD, which is similar to metadata, but it's the resonant structured data. And this is what pulls into every page that loads into iDIG. It parses the information, it puts it into digestible language that the signals can then grab. And that's how that works. So the way that the system works, the framework works, is that it's called coherence. I use coherence because in quantum theory, coherence is the way that particles can engage with each other. And the coherence, so the two items that cohere the most have the strongest signal. So I default with the strongest signal. And the strongest signal is how this Emily Watson would be the person who has the strongest signals that relate to the job. And by default, it's with the strongest signal. Then you can zoom out and you can have more managers here. Now, the way that this enriched summary, this comes from the algorithm that I've written. It is not based off of any kind of an LLM pool or an AI logic pool. It will. So the algorithm that I have right now is fairly basic, tying in these Hilbert space vectors. My next poll is more challenging environments, and as I engage with more challenging teams, I will then start to use LLMs to be able to enrich the profiles and to enrich other areas. So, for instance, this enriched profile summary, none of this is coming directly from the spreadsheet. It's coming from the math and the signals and deducing what this enriched profile would be. Now, you've got another piece here too that I call the observer. It's the profile. So if I am looking for jobs, I'm an account manager, I'm looking for a decision maker at jobs, I have my own lens of how I want to relate to the people I talk to. And that's with this, what I do is I call the observer profile. You can tune the way that you see the world so that whenever you are engaging with this information, it's taking your signals, the signals of the decision makers, and the signals of the jobs, and aligning them together. I do have plans for iDIG in the future for other types of applications, such as people finding movies. So think about the fact of you can build themes into your own observer profile, and when you go find movies that are on the web through all the streaming platforms, you can then that would cohere and find the resonance of the types of movies you are interested in. But for 2026, it's going to be based on finding the coherence in businesses in the data that resides within their business. So if you have a payroll company and you're looking to find prospects, and you can see here that I have this loaded in where you can prospects of customers versus services and products, this can be expanded. And so the main part of iDIG is the fact that I can customize these signals. This is where my argument, I've written essays about this before, that we are the algorithm, we should be the algorithm. I can create this algorithm for you in your client space with your teams based on the signals that you're looking for. So I don't want to tell you what your signals are. I need to talk to your teams to be able to understand what are the signals that you're looking for that would be able to provide a strong coherence with the person that's looking for the information. So if it's a salesperson looking for a prospect for their payroll services, well, what are those signals that would really let you know that that person is in the market? Because the idea behind iDIG is for a healthy matching. It's for quality, not for quantity. The algorithms that we see today, a lot of them are really based on the fact of quantity of engagement and fast returns. So what iDIG is, it's about the quality of the engagement. And by being able to harness these signals, I argue that you can find that quality. Now, what I will do when I embed in teams, I will put in some of the signals, and then we will get back to the user. We will talk to the people using it and say, hey, how is this working? Are these signals good? Are the enriched profile summaries good? Is this speaking to what helps you? Because here's another part of this. It's not only matching, it's providing messaging for the person looking to give them an idea of how they resonate with this information. So you'll see here that you have coherence message. Now, this is all just from straight mathematics. And this is a robotics engineering job, and it's robotic engineering team. So I've created based on these signals, I've leveraged that. Now, when I start to build this out with LLM, I'm going to then increase the quality of this messaging, because then the LLMs can deduce the information that is provided to them to be able to give a solid message. So what is the goal of this? The goal of this is to be able to help you discover information that resides within your teams and help them have a confidence of the people that they're engaging with, that these are the people that you could resonate with. Because the ultimate thing, the ultimate piece of this is it's the healthy engagement. Now, are you trying to sell somebody something? Are you trying to make a process happen? Or are you trying to invite the person in with a relationship so they have trust in you, and then you make money, but when they have trust in you with a quality engagement, that leads to additional engagements. It's the relationship building. And this is what iDIG is about. It's about being able to take the noise out of the signal of information to help you resonate with the information. I mean, I have ideas about how this could be used for manufacturing, where in sensor data could come in and an engineer could engage with the sensor data with these signals. It's just endless in my mind. But again, it's not about what I create for the teams. It's what the teams create for themselves, harnessing the tool that I have created. And there is another piece of this under my profile, is I can come in here and for prospecting, and this actually works. So I've loaded my contacts. I've loaded actually 1,200 contacts on me before it works. And if I have somebody like this, Michael Olson is in my contacts, but it's also in the jobs, then I can come in here, and this is a shared icon. I can click on this, and then so anybody that's in the database that's in iDIG, in these records that you bring in, even from an API, and then you know that person, but you don't realize you know that person, well, it will instruct you that you know this person. So again, that adds to the quality, the health of the conversation. And this is actively working. This is something that actively is working right now. And you have other functions where you can tag the information, save it, and share it. But this is an overall view of how this works. Or another piece of this is one thing that I'm very, very cognizant of is, how is this data managed? Everything with iDIG is about the privacy of the information. I have a storage manager here that I am able to manage the information from a database, and I can actually pull this into local storage as well, which is IndexedDB. But what I do when I engage with teams, the data is your data. So I can even wire this up where it's accessing your data through an API, because as iDIG grows, I never want to be responsible for anybody's data. It's your data. I'm not going to resell your data. I'm not going to see what you do with your data. It's your data. And that's an extremely important part. And another part of iDIG is you're not going to see pop-ups. You're not going to see, you're not going to have any information from the browser that I'm grabbing cookies. I don't use cookies to be able to control and manipulate the user. So this is the idea behind iDIG. It's about the fact of providing the user, I call them the observer, with a framework that they can engage with, that they can find information, and it's useful, quality-driven information that will help teams thrive. That is the plan. I'm looking for a good 5 to 6 clients that I can embed with over 2026 and really dig in and find out what you can find with your signals and what I can help you leverage your signals with. So that is an overview.